All right, everyone, buckle up, because the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, just dropped their preliminary report on UPS Flight 2976 on November 4, 2025, and the details are nothing short of jaw-dropping. The team over here has been digging through every page of this report since it came out just an hour ago, and what happened to that aircraft is tragic and shocking. This incident has led to the grounding of the entire fleet of DC-10 and MD-11 aircraft, and now we finally understand why. It all comes down to issues with the engine pylons, a problem that traces its roots back to a hauntingly similar disaster with American Airlines Flight 191 on May 25, 1979. If you're watching this and find the breakdown gripping, drop a 1 in the comments below to let us know you're as hooked as we are on getting to the bottom of this. Let's dive right into the heart of the matter with UPS 2976. According to the NTSB report released on November 4, 2025, at approximately 5:14 p.m. Eastern Time, United Parcel Service Flight 2976, a Boeing McDonnell Douglas MD-11, was destroyed after crashing into the ground shortly after takeoff from runway 17R at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport in Louisville, Kentucky. Tragically, the 3 crew members on board and 11 individuals on the ground lost their lives in this horrific accident. The loss is profound, and the thoughts of everyone following this story go out to the families and loved ones affected by this disaster. This crash is a heartbreaking tragedy, but it's critical to uncover the root cause to prevent such a catastrophe from ever happening again. The NTSB report provides a detailed account of Flight 2976's history and includes previously unseen photographs that paint a chilling picture of the events. The report shares 6 images taken from the front and left side of the aircraft during its takeoff roll, and as you look at these shots in sequence, the progression of disaster unfolds in real time. In the first photo, everything appears normal as the aircraft passes V1 speed. The pilot monitoring calls for rotation, the nose lifts off the ground, and at this stage, the images suggest a routine departure. But in a split second, as captured in the second photo, the left engine begins to shift dramatically, rising up and over the top of the left wing. Something catastrophic has failed in the pylon holding that engine in place. The report delves deeper into the pylon issue, which we'll get to shortly. But as the sequence continues, the third photo shows a fire breaking out as the engine completely detaches from the aircraft. It's almost surreal to see it positioned directly over the wing, shooting upward. You might wonder why the engine didn't fall beneath the wing instead of going over it. The answer lies in the thrust dynamics. Those engines are pulling the aircraft forward and upward into the air. Positioned slightly ahead of the wing, they create lift, and when the aft mounting assembly fails, the engine, still generating thrust, yanks itself upward, snapping the forward mount and becoming airborne. By the fifth photo, a massive fireball erupts as the engine tears over the top and back of the plane. In the sixth and final image, flames are visible at the rear, spewing from the number 2 engine in the tail, not the number 3 engine on the right wing, as some early speculation suggested. Initial analyses, including one from this reporter, suspected the right engine had also suffered a compressor stall due to shrapnel from the left engine failure. However, the NTSB report clarifies that the CF6 engine itself wasn't the problem. There were no mechanical issues with the engine. The failure was entirely due to the pylon mount giving way, causing the engine to rip over the top of the wing. As it disintegrated, debris and shrapnel were flung into the tail-mounted number 2 engine, causing it to compressor stall, as evidenced by the flames in that last photo. Whether it was the number 2 or 3 engine stalling, the result was the same. The aircraft was left with only one fully operational engine on the right wing. This created a severe yaw and roll to the left, making control nearly impossible. The report notes that the plane initially climbed but never rose higher than 30 feet above the ground, far lower than the 400 feet initially reported, and contradicted by radio altitude data from the flight data recorder. FAA provided NTSB data shows the last recorded altitude at 481 feet mean sea level, but that figure doesn't align with the visual evidence. After clearing the blast fence at the end of runway 17R, the aircraft's left main gear struck the roof of the UPS Supply Chain Solutions warehouse on the southern edge of the airport. From there, it crashed into a storage yard and 2 additional buildings, including a petroleum recycling facility, before being largely consumed by fire. The wreckage stretched across a 3,000-foot path through the UPS warehouse, with debris centered at coordinates provided in the report. Images of the burning aircraft show it yawing to the left, gear still down, before impacting the building and rolling into a devastating descent on its left side. The report also touches on the crew's experience and the recovery of flight data recorders, which provided critical insights into the crash. It offers a brief history of the MD-11 aircraft before zeroing in on the technical details of the pylon and wing connection, where the story gets even more compelling. The MD-11's left number 1 engine and right number 3 engine are mounted to pylons attached to the underside of each wing, with 4 attachment points, 2 connecting the engine to the pylon and 2 linking the pylon to the wing. The center number 2 engine, meanwhile, is mounted at the base of the vertical stabilizer, giving the DC-10 and MD-11 their distinctive tail engine design. That tail engine suffered compressor stalling after ingesting shrapnel from the detached left engine. The report specifies that the left and right pylons connect to their respective wings via a forward mount bulkhead, a thrust link assembly, and an aft mount bulkhead, referred to simply as the forward and aft mounts for clarity. The forward mount includes 2 vertically aligned spherical bearings attached to the wing, a design critical to the structural integrity of the engine mounting system. Diagrams in the report highlight these components, including the wing clevis and the forward and aft lugs, all of which play a pivotal role in what went wrong. The NTSB gets into the gritty details of the failure, revealing that the left pylon's aft mount forward and aft lugs were found fractured at the 2 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions, akin to a donut breaking at those points on its circumference. While the aft mount failed first, the forward mount soon gave way under the immense stress. Pieces of the fractured upper portions of these lugs were discovered near runway 17R, while other components, including the left wing clevis and aft mount hardware, remained with the wreckage at the crash site. The spherical bearings outer race had fractured circumferentially, exposing the inner ball element, a complete structural failure. Examination of the left pylon aft mount revealed pre-existing fatigue cracks alongside areas of overstress failure, particularly where the aft lug bore met the forward face. This aircraft, tail number November 259 Uniform Papa, was no stranger to wear and tear, having accumulated 92,992 hours and 21,043 cycles by the time of the accident. A cycle, for those unfamiliar, represents each flight operation, and over 21,000 cycles indicates significant usage for this aging aircraft. Maintenance records show the plane was under a continuous airworthiness program, standard for major carriers. Inspections of the pylon aft mount included general and detailed visual checks every 72 months, or 5 years, with the last one completed on October 28, 2021, over 4 years prior to the crash. A lubrication task for the pylon thrust links and spherical bearings, conducted every 24 months, or 4,800 hours, was last performed on October 18, 2025, just weeks before the incident. However, lubrication differs vastly from a thorough inspection. A special detailed inspection of the left pylon aft mount lugs wasn't due until 29,200 cycles, and with the aircraft at just over 21,000 cycles, that check was still roughly 8,000 cycles away.
Similarly, an inspection of the left wing clevis support was scheduled at 28,000 cycles, also years down the line. The report indicates that the aft mount's pre-existing fatigue cracks were the primary culprit, giving way under stress and causing the engine to detach, while the forward mount failed due to overstress, not prior damage.
Recapping the sequence of events on November 4, 2025, as the aircraft took off, the aft mount of the left engine pylon, already weakened by fatigue cracks, failed. The engine, still at maximum thrust, pulled upward, overstressing the forward mount and detaching completely over the wing. Shrapnel from the disintegrating engine struck the tail-mounted No. 2 engine, causing it to stall, as seen in the flames captured in the final photo. Initially, there was confusion about which engine stalled, with some believing it was the right-wing engine, but the NTSB confirms it was the tail engine. With only the right-wing engine producing full thrust, the aircraft couldn't maintain flight. Despite the crew's heroic efforts to keep it airborne amid a cockpit likely flooded with warning lights, they cleared the blast fence but couldn't sustain altitude. The left main gear hit the warehouse roof and the plane rolled left into a fatal crash. The extent of the damage was unknown to the crew in those final moments, but their bravery in attempting to save the aircraft is undeniable. This preliminary report from the NTSB sheds crucial light on a preventable tragedy, and the heartbreak is palpable. The loss of the 3 crew members and 11 people on the ground in Louisville weighs heavily, and there's a collective hope that lessons from this disaster will save lives in the future. After wrapping up this deep dive, a moment of reflection and prayer is planned for those affected families, as this incident, while now better understood, remains a profound loss. Thanks for sticking with us through this detailed breakdown of UPS Flight 2976. If this video has helped you grasp the gravity of what happened, or you just appreciate the effort to unpack such a complex story, please drop a 1 in the comments to show your support. This is Captain Steve signing off. Fly safe, everyone.